or secularism, tolerance or intolerance. As we see through the process of our talk that what does the Islam says? It's very clear according to Islam that is tolerance towards the livelihood of this world. We have to be tolerant towards secular world, and we have to live the secular world according to the Islamic law, the guidance that is divine. So we see some other examples from the Quran and from the Hadith, inshallah, that many of the Muslims now living in this community, sometimes it's very obsessed that we found that we are cold feet ourselves to carry the message of Islam to the non-Muslims. We say, Lakum dinukum waliya din. This is their faith, let them to happy in their faith and let it be in our faith. But if we know the Quran, it gives the information in context. So if we go back through the Quran, it's mentioned in Surah Kafirun, chapter 109. If we read through from verse 1 to 6, we come through what is the real message of this sentence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts the verse with that Qul. When it says Qul, it's a direct order to the believer. Qul. He is telling us, Ya ayyuhal kafirun, those who disbelieve. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us to correct the people like we have to correct the people. Maybe we recite the Surah Ikhlas, chapter 112. And that says, Qul, say, Huwallahu ahad, that He is Allah, the one and only. Allahu samad, He is absolute and He is eternal. He has no beginning, He has no end. Lam yalid walam yulad, that He beget not, nor is He begotten. Walam yakullahu kufuwan ahad, and there is nothing whatever like unto Him. This is the message what we Muslims are not supposed to read only by ourselves, but it is a message to deliver to others. Allah says, Qul. So this Surah Kafirun is also an instruction to the Muslims. That Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun, say to the people of the disbelief, La a'budu ma ta'budun, that you will not believe that what I believe. Wala antum a'biduna ma a'bud, and I will not believe what you believe. Wala ana a'bidum ma abadtum, and I don't believe that what you believe. Then at the ending verse it says, Lakum dinukum waliya din. When we say disbeliever to believe in our faith, why? The reason that I explained. And then if the unbeliever, they says, no, we will not believe about your belief, you should believe in our faith. Then the Quran says, Lakum dinukum waliya din. You tell them that for you is your belief, for us is us. No fighting. You just tell them that, okay, you enjoy your way of life, we enjoy our way of life. And we know the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that. That to is your din, to my is mine. Because many of the media now today is propounding that Islam is an intolerance religion. It preaches its followers to spread Islam by the use of sword. But when we read the Quran, I said we have to read the Quran as a context. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the second chapter of the Quran, Surah Baqarah chapter 2 verse 256, we know this verse, La ikraha fad-din. The translation of the meaning is that there is no compulsion, no force in terms of worship. We are not entitled to force any single human being to accept our faith. This is very clear. But we must not stop there. The verse continues that قَدْ تَبَيَّنَ الرُّشْدَ مِنَ الْغَيِّ, that the truth stands far out from the error. Allah is continuing that those who leave others and hold the rope of Allah, they are upholding the strongest rope. And Allah truly knows who are really guided. So this is very clear that when it comes to the faith, religion, practice, we are not being told to force a single human being. Because this is worthless and this is rubbish. If we have gone now, and if we say a disbeliever that say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, and the poor man, we're going to put the gun on his forehead, and if he says La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, what does this carries for? Nothing. People say Islam was spread by the sword. I will try to clarify these things, inshallah. So, we should not hate the people of the society. We must try to encourage them to see the good things. Maybe they have understood the things which they have learned from the media. We know that how the media is now bombarding Islam. They are attacking Islam in a wrong manner. The things that is alien to Islam. Islam is always there till the last 1400 years as a peaceful religion. And till today, it is the most tolerant and most peaceful religion on this face of this earth. So, I say, why we should not hate, how we can hate others. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Isra, chapter 17, verse 70, that وَلَقَدْ قَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. I, the Creator Allah, قَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. He has honored the children of Adam. We know we all are children of Adam and Eve. May Allah be pleased with them both. So, we have a common grandparents. Maybe I am middle, maybe some are black, maybe some are white, maybe some are tall, maybe some are short. We may be living in Sweden, or maybe Sudan, maybe Somalia, maybe America, but we have a common grandparents. And each and every individual human being have been honored by the Creator Himself. So how can we, as a believer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we can hate others? But many of the Muslims, sometimes out of their ignorance or maybe foolish awareness, they say, no, we hate the non-Muslims. We must respect the others because Allah Himself respects the others. But what is the criteria? Who is honored mostly in the sight of Allah? He has also prescribed that. I have children, the children of Adam, but among the children of Adam, there are someone who is given higher honor. Who are these? Allah says in Quran, in Surah Hujurat, chapter 49, I am giving the references so that it can help you to arm yourself. If you go back to your home, you check up whatever the translation you have, the Swedish, English, or some other translation, you can see through the meaning of these verses. The translation, or if you understand Arabic, is very clear. Allah says, Allah is addressing to the mankind that Ya ayyuhan nas, Surah Hujurat, chapter 49, verse 13. Allah says, Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind, inna khalaqnakum, it is we who have created you. Min zakari wa unsa wa ja'alnakum, from a single pair of male and female. That is Adam and Eve. May Allah be pleased with them both. And Allah is continuing. Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min zakari wa unsa wa ja'alnakum shu'uba wa qaba'ila lita'arafu inna akramakum indallahi atqakum innallaha alimun kabir. That I have created you from a single pair of male and female and split you into nations and tribes. Not that you shall despise each other, you shall fight each other, but lita'arafu, the Arabic word used here, so that you may understand each other, you may respect each other. And the most honorable, Allah says, in the sight of Allah, the person who have more taqwa. The translation of the meaning in the word taqwa is who have more God consciousness, who have more fear about God, who is more act on his righteous deeds. So it is your piety, it is our piety, it is our righteous deeds, it is our fear of Allah, it is our God consciousness. So this is the things Allah has honored. Among the mankind, Allah says, I have honored most those who follow me. And that is the common practice. If you are a parent, if you have many child, you love those who follow you, or whatever you said, whatever you told him or her. If we live in a community, whom we love most? Those who love us most, those who follow us most. So Allah says, whatever I give is best for you. And if you follow that, I love that person that better than the other one who don't follow my word. So that is the clear message as an understanding level of each and every individual human. So in this verse, it gives another meaning. The same verse of the Quran can be interpreted in many ways. So this verse, Allah gives us an instruction about universal brotherhood. We see that many of the Muslims, we know that why we offer salah together. We know we have a problem of the mankind, of racism, of color, of caste, of creed. But how to solve this problem? we need a practical instruction, a practical way of demonstration, how to resolve this problem of discrimination in racial field, in the field of color, or rich, or poor. So this, our salah, the instruction given in the Quran, is a practical solution to the problem of racism. Because the Quran says, Atiullah, Ati Rasul, follow the messenger. And the Prophet ﷺ, he teaches us how to pray. If you go back to Sahih Bukhari, volume 3, in the book of Adhan, hadith number 692, the Prophet ﷺ says that when you stand for salah, you stand shoulder to shoulder and feet to feet. Irrespective whether I am a black or a white, I am a rich or a poor, we have to stand shoulder to shoulder. This is the practical example of universal brotherhood. That is the example that Islam has preaches to its followers. How to remove the obstacles, because we all are racist by nature. But when we come for salah, Allah says you have to remove this obstacle so that you can be in the straight path. Because he is your brother. He is your brother of faith. When the sisters pray, they are the sisters of faith. So you are one common generation. You are from forefathers Adam and Eve. So do not differentiate amongst you. But fear me, and he will be honored in the sight of me. The other example of the biggest universal brotherhood is in Mecca. We know every Muslim, it has obliged that if he has the ability to perform pilgrimage once in a lifetime in the holy city of Mecca. So, irrespective whether we are a rich or a poor, we go there, the Muslims go there, they wear the same clothes, and the reasons of that, there is no differentiates in terms of our race, our color, of our creed, or of our nationalities. We all go there to show an example of universal brotherhood. There is not a single faith in this faith of this earth which have such an example of universal brotherhood. So, look at my brothers and sisters, the examples are very clear. We can, as a layman, differentiate the things. That differentiate between Islam against secularism. In secularism, they count the head. Like if there are 50 people, and if 49 says that should be the law, that is the law. If any country, majority of the people are robber, or they are criminals, and if you ask them that what should be the law to punish you, they will say, give us the right to more robs, or to kill more one. That is the law of secularism, nothing to do with religion. But Islam teaches us how to live peacefully, internally and externally. A practical way of life. So let us see some of the examples which we can find from these two ways of life, as we are comparing secularism with Islam. So we have a problem in the current world today about justice. We need justice. We need accountability. What the person who are in the authority, who have power, who have the authority to do something, we need justice from them, what they are doing. But in a real sense, if we see through in our eyes, in a critical manner, we see through that the world is suffering from injustice. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives a clear definition of justice. One verse is sufficient enough to prove about the justice. Surah Nisa. We know that Surah Nisa attribute to the women, but it has the instruction to everyone. Surah Nisa chapter 4 verse 135. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that you, He is addressing to the mankind, do justice as a witness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we are told to do justice so that Allah knows the heart, that whether He is doing justice or not. So we are witness to Allah, not to prove to the others. What terms? That do justice to witness to Allah if the justice go against yourself. If I do wrong, do justice that you know that you did this offense and you made justice against yourself. Because you may punish in this world, but you will never save in the hereafter. So you witness to Allah that Allah, I do justice because maybe in foolishness or maybe out of my ignorance, we do justice. We do wrong. And now the justice goes against us. Allah continues, that if the justice goes against your parents, if the justice goes against your relatives, against a rich or against a poor. Allah protects both. So the clear message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we must as Muslims, must try to establish justice in the society. Justice of personal justice, justice as a community, justice in the family, justice in the nations, and justice in the globe. And that is a practical solutions for justice. We see some of the moral teachings of Islam. Islam teaches us how to be moral. Morally we have to be good. And the Quran tells us, the one surah after the last one, Surah Nisa, is Surah Ma'idah chapter 5, verse 32, where the world is suffering from killing of innocent human beings in the name of war on terror. Thousands and innocent people, of children, the olds, the youngs and the youths, the patients in the hospitals, they are dying because of killing. And we know that how Islam's come to rescue from killing. Surah Ma'idah chapter 5 verse 32, Allah says that if you kill any single human being, irrespective whether he is a Muslim or non-Muslim, except for this reason that he comes to kill you or he is creating mischief in the land, it is as though you have created the whole of mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling, if we as a Muslim kill either a Muslim or a non-Muslim, unless for two reasons, except he comes and kill to you, or he comes to create mischief on the land, it is as though you are creating whole of mankind. The moral teaching of Islam. And the practical example, every country have his civil force, army, navy, police force. Why? So that the innocent people in the community, they can live peacefully. Some person who is a criminal, if he comes and if he wanted to kill the others, it is the duty of the security people to give the rescue to innocent citizens. The army is there so that they can prevent the others, outsider, those who want to come in a country to create mischiefs in the land. The message is very clear, it's a practical message. Maybe for our lack of understanding we misunderstood. But this is a practical message in Islam. Every country has its force so that there shall be peace prevail in the society. So that is the moral preaching of Islam. But maybe, I told you there are injustice. There are people who are killing others because of power. They are using their power in a wrong manner. They are using media as a big tool so that they can brainwash the people to think the others that what they believe. They show some persons doing wrong acts and they justify that these persons deserve to die. And people traveling from 1,000 miles using explicit bombs to kill the innocent human being. What does a child of 1 year, 2 years have got to do with killing the others? But the people traveling, they are riding the aeroplane and they are killing the people. We know in history, the one nation, that is America, the first time they used the nuclear weapon in Japan. Thousands of innocent people die. Still innocent child are born with disabilities. So Islam gives clear moral teaching. The verse after the first one, Surah Ma'idah chapter 5 verse 32 and then 33, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes further in telling that if any one of you saves a single human being, it is as though you have saved the whole of mankind. Irrespective whether he is a Muslim or non-Muslims, we are told to give security to the others, which is a great demand in the current world, not in a society, in the current world, because the globe is now very short. We can see through what is going on around the world. So these are the teachings of Islam. The life of non-Muslims is as sacred as the Muslims. If we go back, I don't have time to elaborate every examples from the history, from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. There was justice. The leaders, they were without any bodyguards. They can sleep anywhere they like because they have justice in the community. No one is their enemy. And that was the history of Islam. And if we look back now today, we have to say that there are injustice and there are innocent people are killing every day. So we must correct the people that look, you should not kill any individual human being. Because if you kill a single innocent human being, you are killing whole of mankind. We find some other examples from the Quran. Maybe we know these chapters The chapter, surah is called Mumtahina, chapter 60, verse 80. This verse is telling us how we Muslims should interfere with the non-Muslims. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the direction that Allah loves those who do justice. If any people is not forcing you to reject your religion, to reject your worship, or if no one is forcing you to drop out of your home, Allah says He is love those who do justice with those people who is not driving out from your home. So we are told to do justice because these people, many of us know that we come here as a war refugee or as an asylum. They are giving us shelter. So we must not go against the people. We must respect them because they give us shelter. They are not driving out of our home. But at the same time, those people, the authority, those who are driving out us or our brothers or any individual from their home, we must try to condemn in the manner that we can. If we have voice, we should raise our voice. If we have vote, we should give vote that stop this injustice. Surah Mumtahina, chapter 60, verse 9, Allah is another instruction He is giving to us, that Allah loves those who do justice. He told you to live peacefully and in harmony with the people in the community. So we know that the critics of Islam, many a times they attack Islam. That I told you in the beginning, that Islam is the religion who is a ruthless religion. It teaches its followers to spread the Islam by the use of sword. And the best answer is given by another historian. He is a famous historian by the name of Deleuze O'Leary. In the beginning of 20th century, in the 1918, he wrote a book, Islam at the Crossroad. So in his book, on page number 8, he is describing and giving a solution about this allegation of the critics. It still is valid today. He says that history makes it clear that the legend of the fanatical Muslims sweeping across the world, forcing Islam at the point of the sword, is the most fantastic, absurd myth that the historian have ever repeated. He says this is the most fantastic myth, absurd myth. In history, there is no such an example. Because we Muslims know we ruled Spain for 800 years. And after 800 years of ruling, when the Muslims were kicked out by the Crusaders, there was not a single Muslim who can give openly adhan, the call of the prayer of the Muslims. Reasons, we didn't use force. If the Muslims governor used to use force, they can convert each and every Spanish into Islam. Even the economic force, if they use it, we can convert the people into Islam. The reason, we didn't use force, we didn't use sword. The examples that we Muslims, we ruled India for 1,000 years, the Mughals. After 1,000 years, when the partition took place, Muslims got the 1/3, the Hindus, they got 2/3. Reasons, no use of force. I would like to give a very decisive example from this country. In 2007, in Uppsala University, they have published a yearly book, 2007 from Uppsala University. I have the article, the books, their yearly book. And on page number 27, the article was written by Sultan Silvik. Maybe you know the Professor Matthias Gabriel. Dr. Matthias Gabriel, he is very popular. He is also an expert in comparative religion. And he speaks many good things. So his department, in the Department of Religion and History and Multiculturalism in Europe, Sultan Silvik, the professor, she interviewed 50 women on Uppsala University in 2007. And these 50 women, they professed, they accepted Islam and they took the veil. Which force or which sword, we can ask to the critics, was working in Sweden in 2007 to accept these 50 women into Islam? Which force? The Quran gives the answer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that what is the answer we should give to the people. He says in Surah Nahl chapter 16 verse 125 that وَدُوْ إِلَىٰ سَبِيلِ رَبِّكَ بِالْحِكْمَةِ. You Muslims, we are told to invite people to the way of Allah with hikmah. وَالْمَوْعِظَةُ الْحَسَنَةِ. Hikmah means wisdom. And Allah says, "Wal ma'izatul hasana." You should use beautiful preaching, and you should reason with them. You should argue with them in the way that are best and most gracious. So Allah clearly says that we must use and invite the people to the way of Islam with our wisdom, with beautiful preaching, and we should reason with them, we should argue with them in the way that are best and most gracious. So the example is here. Now, even in Europe, in America, thousands of people are accepting Islam. Which Muslims army went in this country and forcing people to embrace Islam? No force is there. It is they are using their own intellect, and they change their hearts and mind, and they accepted Islam. So we are Muslims. We must try to use this ongoing reasons in the community, and we must encourage the people that, you see, we have the religion which is the most perfect religion on this face of this earth, and we are telling you to accept it so that you can be saved in the hereafter. My dear brothers and sisters, we can talk many hours, but I would like to give you the opportunity to ask questions, criticism, or whatever you like. I would like, in the end of my talk, I would like to take to the Muslim brothers and sisters, and even the non-Muslims who are here, please try to understand the value of religion. What is religion stands for? Islam stands for a complete way of life. It is most tolerance towards everything except those things are evil. Islam is always against evil. Any evil consequence, Islam is contrary against that. So secularism, Islam is tolerant towards secularism. But secularism, it directly says no connection with religion. So either we Muslims practice or we Muslims carry this mission of dawah, propagation or not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He makes the promise in the Quran in no less than 3 different places. He says in Surah Tawbah chapter 9 verse 33, in Surah Saf chapter 61 verse number 9, and Surah Fatah chapter number 48 verse number 28, the Creator says, "Huwa allazi arsala rasulahu bil huda." It is Allah who